what people didn't realize is behind the screen, I was sinking. What do you feel? What do you think? What is going to be best for you?
And that's why I'm here today, to support you, to show up for you, to see you thrive. Yes, you're doing so many amazing things, but I care more about Sara than anything that you will ever do. So Sara, it's been a long time coming. And I'm so glad that you said yes to be on There's More to You.
Absolutely.
With Michelle Washington. But this show is really not to highlight what people know about you, because I know you are an influencer, you are a champion for women, you are an advocate, you help women and men in small business. You do so much, but the story that's never told is the story behind the woman. And my first question to you, Sara, is when did you discover your more?
That's a hard question. So I think that I'm always discovering more. So I'm gonna start with that. I think that in different phases in my life, with circumstances, you grow. So you discover one thing, then you go to a next chapter, and then you uncover something else. But I want to say that I think that I discovered my more probably about 5 or 6 years ago. And it was actually during a time where I was a director for the Women's Business Center, and I was in the process of getting a divorce.
Wow.
And that's so interesting because
I never knew you was married.
Yeah. Oh, really?
I never knew that, Sara.
See, the story, you don't know. So definitely I was walking in purpose, and at the same time I was sinking. That's how I felt. And that's a hard balance because you always want to keep good, your face on, and you want people to know you're doing well.
Yeah.
And when you're a face of an organization, there really wasn't much time to be in your feelings. But what people didn't realize is behind the screen, I was sinking, and I was trying to figure it out. I just knew that wasn't a space that I could stay in.
Sure.
So once I discovered that wasn't a space I wanted to be in, and what I was really wanting to do, and where my heart and my passion lied, it kind of made me soar. And then after, I can honestly wholeheartedly say, right after my divorce, it just was like, pew, everything started really coming together.
So in the time of feeling that way, that you was losing yourself, what is some of the things that you had to do to get yourself out? Because sometimes, Sara, we talk about, look, I was there and I just had to pull myself out. But those women and men that are watching us, give them something so they can apply it.
It's going to sound really selfish, but I do think that you have to choose you. And I think that sometimes we allow all the noise around us and other people's opinions and what society says we should do. And we have all these internal struggles and all these things, and we allow that to guide us and to take us to whatever the decision is going to be. When in actuality, you should be worrying about you. What do you feel? What do you think? What is going to be best for you? And it does sound really selfish, but at some point you have to choose you. And I do believe that when you choose you, things do start falling into place.
But isn't that medicine when you do? Because
absolutely,
people could call it selfish, but it's medicine. Because I remember when I got a divorce and went to counseling, one of the first things she told me to do is go to a restaurant by yourself, go to the movies by yourself.
Right.
And that's where that sparked for me to start doing things for myself. Now, I didn't think it was selfish. I thought it was just homework I needed to do. But I didn't realize doing that brought my independence back of who you saying who you really are.
Yep.
Was that the same for you?
It definitely did. It actually, so I come from a background of fashion, so I was still doing fashion at the time. And I still do fashion, but just not in the same way. But I didn't realize how deeply rooted I was into, small business, and how much I wanted to really be that champion for the creative economy. And I didn't realize that. I knew it, but I didn't really know it. And I think that what happens is when you're in a space that you can't just really live and be, you will dim your light just to
Yeah.
maintain. And that's what I found myself doing.
Yeah.
I even found myself saying all the time, oh, I'm just trying to stay under the radar. And one of my mentors told me, that is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard you
Yeah.
say. You run you're a director of an organization,
Yes.
and you do this and you do that. How are you trying to be under the radar? And when he said that, even though I was hearing what I was saying, it was the perspective. I was like, yeah, I sound real
But
crazy.
why were you saying that?
I was really saying that because I felt like when I was in my marriage, my shine was it felt like there was an issue of it outshining the actual marriage and what was going on. And it became like this whole jealousy thing. And I didn't want to disturb that to try and preserve it. So that's what I felt like I needed to do. And what I realized is this is who I am. I can't change that.
Yeah.
And I don't really want to take that away either. I do believe that some people just walk in the light.
Yes.
And
Yes.
you can't change that.
But what you said in regards to dimming your light and not wanting to be, you wanted to be behind the scenes, it was almost like a trait you deem as part of your life now because you went through something. Now, because of that, now you added a new trait that caused you to feel like in everything in life, I have to shrink that. How do you stay in the light now? Since you're out, how do you stay in the light?
Mostly I choose me. And it's hard to, again, it sounds so selfish sometimes.
Can you stop saying that though? Why do you say that?
I think it's a societal thing. I think society has brainwashed all of us on some level to just believe that when you choose you and you put you first and you're not helping this person or doing this, that it's like wrong. And again, I'm not perfect, so I'm still, still learning. But I do think that choosing myself and what is best for me and what not only just is what's best for me, what works with my current lifestyle, because your lifestyle changes from time to time too.
For sure.
So I think that when I do that, is again, when you choose you, all the things fall into place. So I'm just making sure that things align with my purpose, things align with what I desire to do, and learning how to say no comes along with the choosing yourself too. And I say no a lot, and I'm okay with that. And at one point, I would feel really bad, like, oh, I feel so bad. Let me figure out how I can try just like squeeze it in a little bit. No, it's okay. Just say no.
Or not right now.
Yeah, that too.
So can I give you your first challenge for today?
Yep.
That you stop saying
it's selfish.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
I won't say it anymore.
It's not necessary. You're living life the way that you intended to live it.
Absolutely.
So in the whole, there's more to you. It was in the darkest season in my life that I discovered that I had to regain and remember who I was. And that's kind of what we've been talking about. You also said you might not call it your darkest moment, but you was definitely going through a hard time in your life. What is it about going through a hard time in life is when you find the treasure of life? Because that's what it seemed like happened.
I would agree. This is it can vary, for everyone, but I find for myself when things are dark, it's almost like a test. And it kind of tests you to kind of almost like when they say if you fall, the real question is, what are you going to do to get up and keep going? It's kind of like, are you just going to stay in it? You don't want to be in it. Yes, it's uncomfortable, but I also feel like we thrive in being uncomfortable.
For sure.
So I think that in dark times, it is very uncomfortable, but you literally, I think it turns on some type of superpower of strategy, on survival, like all the things, so that you can get out of it or change it or whatever the case is. Sometimes that doesn't happen for everybody. Sometimes they got to sit in it. I personally don't want to sit in things for too long. I give myself a few days. Really depends on what it is, but I give myself a few days and then I'm like, okay, you can't stay in this space because you just can't stay in this space. You got to you have to find what is the solution or find what's going to get you out of it and start doing that.
Absolutely. Yeah. So Sarah, I should have asked you this earlier, but do you believe there's more to you?
Absolutely.
Why?
I would honestly say that I have lived a life of so many circumstances.
Yeah.
And from being an albino and that being a thing when I was really younger, to when I was in high school, me and my mom taking care of my dad, having to kind of grow up a little bit faster and being a support system for my mom and feeling like that was unfair because I'm only in high school and now, my dad is dying and helping my mom take care of my grandmother and my dad both at one point.
Wow.
And then, a divorce and all these things seem really minimal, but when you're in them, they're really heightened. And a lot of things I feel like there were challenges for me were when I was more younger than older, but I always come out on top. And I always feel like all of these things that happen show me something more about myself, whether it be strength, whether it's resilience, whether it's patience, because that's what season I'm in now. So I just think that all of those things have challenged me and they've kind of taken me to my next chapter. So I know that there's always more. Like just because this is where I am now doesn't mean this is where I'm going to stay. And it doesn't, as my mom would say, it's not going to be like this always. And sometimes we kind of get impatient, like, well, when's the change coming?
For sure.
But I do know that when I stay diligent and I stay true to what I'm supposed to be doing, it's always more on the other side.
Could that be the life lesson in regards to not abandoning the dark times or the stressful times or the season where we don't see what we want to see? Because if we absolutely know there's more, there has to be more to this moment. I have to come out on the other side.
It's kind of like they said, God didn't bring you this far to bring you this far. It's really that, our dark times, we love to talk about the great times.
Yeah.
But we don't often talk about the dark times. And I'm guilty of that too. Because one, I'm just kind of like more private and I just don't.
Sure.
But I do think that there is something to be said about the dark times because when it's already written, it's already written. And there's no controlling that. It's just gotta happen and you gotta go through it. But if you go through it and you're diligent in it, I just feel like, again, it's something on the other side. So there is life lessons or lessons, however you want to look at it, in those dark times too. They're just as equally to me as important as the great times.
For sure.
Maybe sometimes more.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
Even sometimes more.
Yeah. So with what you have experienced in life, what would be your message for life?
Like in this moment, I've been talking about this a lot and I'm still learning it, but it has so much truth in it. It's really learning how to be uncomfortable. Just really learning how to be uncomfortable and trust the process.
What does that mean?
Learning how to be uncomfortable?
Yeah.
I find that when we are most comfortable, we stay stagnant. We stay in it. It's like it's your regular thing to do. You do it like instantaneously, like a well-oiled machine, and there's nothing wrong with that. But when you are trying to be more, when you are trying to grow, when you're trying to get to your next, when you want to work on yourself and be more, you can't be in that comfortable place. You have to look in the mirror and see the good, bad, ugly, and different.
Yeah.
You have to talk about the things that make you uncomfortable because those are the hurdles and things you have to get over to get on that other side of the fence to see the greener pasture.
Yeah. So you're going through that process. You're saying that to yourself. One of the things, and I do this and I tell women and men, but really women, when I'm feeling down, when I'm feeling like I'm in that tough season, I talk to myself out loud.
Me too.
Do you really?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I do.
I'm like, let's go. Come on, Michelle. Let's
like,
do
girl,
this.
come on now. You gotta get it together. Yeah, very much so. You have to be your own cheerleader.
I was gonna say that. You really do. Because,
you have to.
But Sara, this is the thing about you. You have mastered that for so many people. And sometimes, Sara, not saying that you do, but sometimes we rather be the cheerleader instead of being cheered for. Oh my gosh, that was so good.
That was so good.
That just came to
That
me,
was
Sara.
so good. That needed to be a clip on.
Gee whiz.
That's good.
We find pleasure, and there's nothing wrong being a cheerleader, but it's hard to be cheered for. Why is that, Sara? And before you answer, I want you to think about it. Because you're in a season of being a full-time entrepreneur. You've been doing this for 2 years, right? You have helped. This is my number. It doesn't have to be the right number. You have helped thousands and thousands of people with their businesses. but yet here you are.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if I have the right answer,
Okay.
but I am going to say that it is so much easier to cheer for other people than to allow people to cheer for you and dote on you. It really is. It's a lot easier. Um, I think that it comes with a level of responsibility and a level of pressure because you want to always make sure you're on point and they're cheering for the right reasons. At least for me.
Mm.
So that is something I think I'm still learning that too. Like I've gotten so much better with
Good.
allowing people to help me,
Good.
allowing people to cheer for me and to be an advocate for me too. And to your point, I have helped a lot of people and it has been my honor. It has been my pleasure, but it's my turn. It's my turn.
It is your turn.
It's my turn. Help me.
Yes. So here's the question. How can we help you? How can we rally around Sara?
I am doing a lot of consultant work for other organizations, creatives, and entrepreneurs, still working in that same space. But my focus is, business counseling and branding. Those are like my things.
Yes.
So, just telling people where the resources are, because that's a resource.
Mm-hmm.
And with my Blondie Mansion brand, we're always having activations. So coming in support, and when you're supporting me, you're supporting other creatives and entrepreneurs as well. But and sometimes things incur a fee. Maybe you don't have it. That's okay. But support looks very different across the landscape. It's not always money based. That means sharing on social media. Yeah. You could text or call and say, "Hey, are you breathing?" Like that's a level of support too. Mm-hmm. So that those are the kind of things that I think that people they could do right now.
Sara, from time to time, I'm always reaching out to you
for sure
and saying what I need to say to you based upon, what I'm feeling in my
always
heart.
Right on time.
But Sara, you're one of those women that I will always support.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I mean that from the bottom of my heart because I know your intent is right towards people. You understand who you are. You understand your purpose. And you're the type of woman that we need in the forefront. And Sara, I know that times are hard. I know things could get frustrating. But here's the truth, Sara. As a trailblazer, as a leader at times, you're going to get hit first before the rest of them. You're going to take the blows that the person behind you will never experience.
Never experience.
And that's why it's so important that we rally around you and support you in a way, not just from your role, your responsibilities, your titles that we may grown accustomed to, but rallying around you because you are a woman of more. And that's why I'm here today, to support you, to show up for you, to see you thrive. Yes, you're doing so many amazing things, but I care more about Sara than anything that you will ever do.
No, I appreciate that.
And I mean that.
I know you do.
I mean it from the bottom of my heart.
Because sometimes people can't see past the titles and they can't see past what you see on social. It's like it's so much more that you don't know.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So with that being said, Sara, I really would love for you to speak to the men and women that are watching. I would love for you to give them your final remarks in regards to being more, understanding that there's more to them, more to the moment, because moments pass. But what would you say? And this time you got to look at the camera.
This one.
Yes.
So I know that it's a journey. I think that finding your more and figuring out who you are is a journey. It's not something that you figure out overnight. I think that as people, we should normalize evolving because we evolve all the time. Different stages in your life, you're going to be different. Some stages you need some things and other stages you don't. But I think more so with that and then understanding who you are, looking in the mirror and seeing the good, the bad, the ugly, and indifferent is what I like to say. Because all of those things make us who we are, and they take us to our more. And when you understand that, then your purpose and your desires, all of those things, like I've said through this whole time, is that they fall into place by choosing yourself. And know that trusting the process is hard. And if it's uncomfortable, know that you are on the right path, because discovering yourself and traveling that road is definitely not going to be easy, and it should not be comfortable.
Sara, I appreciate you so much.
Thank you.
There's so much more to you
Thank you.
than what you're doing right now. And most importantly, Sara, you are a woman of merit.
Thank you.
You're
Thank you for having me.
It's my pleasure.
You're the best. I was like, oh, she's going to give me a whole word today. I was like,
that was good. Short and sweet, right to the point. That's how I like it.